Arsenal 2, Manchester United nil. That's 4 wins on the bounce coming out of the international break. It's always good to get a nice win with a clean sheet, especially when it's against a team like Manchester United. The rivalry's there. Absolutely love beating Man United. It is a sensational feeling, especially since we handed Ruben Amorim his first Premier League loss with not actually his first Premier League loss, his first loss this season for Manchester United in all competitions, which is great. There were a lot of lippy United fans after their 4-0 win against Everton. They failed to realise that Everton, once they concede a goal, offer nothing. I know Everton won 4-0 today, but yeah, they're just really not a very good side. But let's talk about this game. It wasn't the greatest performance, I would say that. It's definitely been the most underwhelming performance since the international break. We looked sensational against Forest. Sporting and West Ham were both 5-goal games, so that says enough. So today, 2-0, it's a decent scoreline. It was a relatively comfortable game. There was no point really in the second half where I was stressed. First half, I was a little bit upset. We weren't really playing very well. We were very passive, giving the ball away a lot. The only thing was we weren't really conceding any chances. We weren't creating any chances. We weren't conceding any chances. So, yeah, it was a pretty boring first half. And obviously, when you're at home, when you're the much better team, you're not really wanting to see that. You're wanting to see, free-flowing football. You're wanting to see, us creating a lot of chances, really playing them off the park. But that just wasn't what the first half was. Second half was more of that. I was a bit upset when I saw the lineup. There were rumours about Gabriel's fitness going into this game. I did not know Calafiori was injured. That came out of left field. I was really not expecting to see that. So, if anything, if Gabriel wasn't going to play, I was expecting Calafiori left centre-back and then Zinchenko left-back, which still scared me because, Zinchenko really hasn't had the best year or so at Arsenal. He's made a lot of mistakes since coming to the club. He just isn't really a player that we want to see starting games. But I thought that he did a good job, and I'll get into the individual performances later. And then the lineup comes out, and it's Kivior, Zinchenko, both in the back four. And they've probably been the two players that I've been the most disappointed defensively. Kivior really hasn't had an easy start at Arsenal. To be fair to him, he's been played out of position. He is a centre-back, and Arteta's been playing him as a left-back. And Zinchenko, he's not really a defender. He's more of a midfielder, but he's really been an inverted fullback for most of his career. And I thought both of them were fantastic today. I really did. I was very happily surprised at how good their performances were, the both of them. Kivior, that was probably his best game in an Arsenal shirt. Zinchenko, I thought he was very good. There was one moment with Zinchenko where Ahmad kind of cooked him a little bit. About the United lineup, I was so happy that Ahmad didn't start because I was so scared of a potential Ahmad-Zinchenko matchup, even Ahmad-Calafiori, because, a lot of Arsenal fans love Calafiori. He hasn't been amazing. Defensively, I think he needs to work on his 1v1s, which I'm not trying to slate him, but he's just not a fullback. He's a centre-back, so he's not really used to... Anyway, he didn't even play. I don't know why I'm talking about him. Zinchenko, I thought he played very well. The one moment was after Ahmad came off the bench. He came off at half-time, and then there was at the edge of the box, Ahmad kind of dropped a shoulder, sent him away, and then Zinchenko had to make a tactical foul at the edge of the box. That was the one moment, the one time that he got caught out. For the rest of the game, he was decent defensively. He didn't really have to do much because United's attacking threat was completely non-existent. I thought that his passing was good. I've really thought that his passing's been so sloppy over the past year or so. Like, at least the first season, whilst he was a bit of a liability defensively, at least he was helping move the ball. At least he was a really good passer. But over the past year, I've been really disappointing with how sloppy his passing's been. But today, he was good. That was one of his better games that I've seen since the 22-23 season. And then Kivior, just super, super solid. I mean, it helped that he was playing next to Saliba. It helped that he was playing his right position. But yeah, defensively, I mean, United didn't look like creating anything. And he was a big reason why. I was very, very impressed with Jakub Kivior today. But the corners. We got to talk about the corners. Because I don't know what the fuck is going on with this team over the past year. In 2024, our set-piece threat is insane. Nicholas Yova, we've said it so many times. Give him a pay rise. I don't even know if I'd accept £100 million for him. Like, this guy, bro, he's got us absolutely killing teams from corners. Absolutely killing them. Sensational. We scored 2 corners today. Both our goals are from corners, but it wasn't even just that. The majority of our chances in that game were from corners. I didn't see us create a single open play chance that wasn't from a corner in the first half. The second half, our overall play got better. There were a few. I remember Odegaard had a shot he probably should have put away. Saka had another one that he could have done better on. There were a few times that we had opportunities that weren't from corners, but every time, and we had 13 corners in that game, every time we got a corner, the United players were shitting themselves. They had 11 players in the box with 10 minutes to go at 2-0 down. That just shows how scary we are. And the most incredible part is, we didn't even have Gabriel in this team. Gabriel was the main guy that is looked at as our main corner threat. The guy that scored a crazy amount of goals this calendar year. He wasn't even in the team, yet we still looked so deadly. The first goal, it was a brilliant delivery from Declan Rice. I'll talk about him. Great delivery, a great head from Timber. So happy that he finally got his first Arsenal goal. I was so happy for him because this season, he has been phenomenal. And I honest to God, think if we had Timber last season, we would have won the league. Because think about it. Timber, he's better on the right than he is on the left. But we had so many left-back problems last season. We had Kivior playing there for a long stretch of games, Tomiyasu there, Zinchenko at the start of the season. We had what was it? That lineup that we had at the start of last season, where it was like Thomas Partey right back, Gabriel got dropped, Ben White, Saliba as the 2 centre backs, and who was it at left back? Like Kivior. Jesus Christ. Even though left back isn't Timber's best position, he can still do a job there. He played. Yeah, he's definitely. I've seen him do a job at left back against City, particularly. He played there for a bit of the game. Was it against City? I can't remember, but there has been times where I've seen him do well at left back. And yeah, but at right back specifically, he has been unreal. And the header for the first goal was beautiful. Even without the goal, he put in an exceptional performance. I mean, who even started on the left for United? Was it Garnacho? I don't even remember because he had them on locks. I'm pretty sure it was Garnacho. What else? The second goal, also from a corner. That one was more funny. Again, brilliant delivery from Saka. Instead of heading it into the goal, Partey sets it up for Saliba, who shoves his bunda into the goal and wrestles it into the net. United are so arse that they're conceding from a player's arse. You absolutely love to see it. And the celebrations, I love this. Every time we score a goal, Saliba's celebrations are class. There's so much passion with this guy. And again, not just the goal. That's the main thing. These defenders, they're not just scoring goals, but they're doing a job in defense. Both Timber and Saliba were exceptional. The whole back four was brilliant. Didn't let United get a sniff. So when they're able to add goals to their great defensive displays, it's just great to see. Declan Rice. Oh my word. That was probably his best performance of the season. I'd say that some of his best games were PSG and Liverpool. Those are probably his two best games. I reckon he was better against United than he was in either of those two games. Bloody brilliant. As I said, the delivery for the first goal was beautiful. But outside of that, the proper Deckers that I know and love is back. The guy that we saw from August to February, really the entirety of last season. Before our insane run of form after the winter break, when Declan Rice was our best player, that is the version of Declan Rice that we've seen. Absolute ball-winning machine. He won. It felt like he won every duel. Absolutely bossed that midfield. And look, he didn't have a particularly difficult task. Like, let's bring up the United lineup. Let's bring it up, shall we? Let's bring up the lineup from this game. We've got Mason Mount, Ugarte, and Bruno. Yeah, he didn't have a particularly difficult task. But he absolutely bossed it. Even if Kobe Mainoo wasn't suspended and played this game, Rice would have still dominated. And look, I think Partey's been overshadowing him this season. And Partey put in a decent game. There were a couple times where he just had a lapse in concentration, but, got the assist for the second goal. Just a, header to Saliba's bum. But yeah, Rice was unbelievable. He was man of the match for me. Timber was a contender. Saliba was a contender. They were both excellent defensively. But Rice was the man of the match. I thought Rice was just another level. The front four, and by front four, I don't mean a real front four. I mean like Odegaard, who isn't really an attacking midfielder. But I mean Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, Havertz. They didn't do a whole lot. I thought Havertz in the second half, his general play was very good. Probably should have put that chance away. I remember he was through on goal. He kind of scuffed it a little bit in the second half. If he had put that away, I would be praising him right now. But I'll still do it. His general play was great. He was getting in the duels. One thing that I've criticized about Havertz is he's gone missing in certain games. Like, there are games when he gets on the score sheet, when he's in the duels, but so far, and that was what we were seeing last season. At times this season, I haven't really seen him as the same sort of aerial threat that he was. His hold-up play hasn't been as good, but today it was very good. It was exceptional. Saka created a couple of chances. Obviously, was involved in that second goal. He took the corner. He had a shot that he put at the near post. Could have probably done a bit better. But I'm not going to sit here and say Saka didn't do enough, because we've won 2-0. He did his part, and he's got 10 assists this season. 5 goals, 10 assists. He is just an unbelievable footballer, and, today was a down day for him. But if there's one player that's allowed to have a down game, it's Bukayo Saka. I thought Martinelli is probably our worst player on the pitch. He was the only one that I think didn't really have a good game. He had he was through on goal a couple of times. Probably should have done better. Wasn't really much of a threat. Yeah, I wasn't too pleased with him, and really, Martinelli has not been very good this season, and he wasn't very good last season either. He has had certain games. I thought he was excellent against Leicester. He was very good off the bench against Southampton. Put in a good performance against City. But there have been so many games this season where I've just felt disappointed, because that season where Martinelli scored 15 goals, he was sensational. He was unbelievable that season. And since then, he hasn't really done much. I don't even think he scored double-digit league goals since then. I think he's got like 9, which in what? How many games would he have played? He did miss a few games last season due to injury, so he's played over a season's worth of games, and he's got single-digit goals, I think, in the league, and it's not really good enough. Every now and then he gets annoyed. Anyway, I'm not going to spend too much time slating Martinelli. It's not like he was completely terrible, and we've gotten a decent 2-0 win against Manchester United. The clean sheet is good. I didn't even talk about the goalkeeper, by the way. Oh my god, David Raya. I've noticed at times this season, even when Raya doesn't have much to do, he still has his moment. His distribution in the first half I thought wasn't very good. There were just a couple of stupid mistakes that he made. It wasn't costly or anything. By mistakes, I don't mean he gave the ball away in the penalty box. I just mean, he goes to pass to one player and there was probably a better option. But the save he made in the second half, they had a corner. I think was it a corner or was it a free kick? They had a set piece. And who was it that had the header? I'll have to check. I cannot remember off the top of my head who it was, but there was one United player. De Ligt. Yeah, De Ligt from a set piece, had a header, and it was a great save. That's one save I remember. So yeah, David Raya, I think he's been one of our best players this season. I was very critical of him last season. I thought that distribution-wise, he was very good. Shot stopping, he was just an average keeper. But he was doing the job. He was able to get us playing our football. Post-Christmas, other than that Tottenham game, he was brilliant last season. I wouldn't say brilliant. He didn't really step a toe out of line other than that terrible mistake he had against Tottenham that didn't matter. But this season, he's been otherworldly. This season, he has just been giving off the vibes of a world-class keeper. I'm not going to go around saying he's world-class after one season. But the saves he's been making, his distribution, he's been so consistent. He hasn't really had any poor performances. He hasn't made any, massive mistakes or anything like he was last season. He's just been very good. And today, didn't really have much to do. The defense was so solid. We didn't give United a sniff. But he still managed to find his moment. The one time he was called upon, he was there. And it's great to see. It's absolutely great to see. I'm going to go through and do some player ratings now. Starting in goal with David Raya, I was just talking about him. I'll give him a 6. Didn't have, again, as I said before, didn't have a whole lot to do, which is why I'm not going to put him any higher. Distribution wasn't as good as I've seen it. But he was called upon. He made a save. That gets him a 6. Zinchenko. I'll give Zinchenko a 7. I thought Zinchenko, as I said before, was incredible. Completely locked up United's right-hand side. Garnacho was nowhere to be found. Other than that one moment with Ahmad, he had Ahmad in his pocket. His passing was sensational. So I was very happy with Zinchenko. Jurrien Timber. Even other than the goal, he gets a 7. Because he got the goal, I'll give him an 8. This guy, I love him. If he didn't get injured, we would have won the league. I said it before. I'm going to say it all season. Because especially at right back, at left back, he's had some games where he hasn't really made much of an impact. Still defensively solid, but he's adding so much threat on that right-hand side. I can't remember what game it was. I think it was the game against Forest. Everything came through him on the right-hand side. Him and Saka are starting to form a very good partnership on the right. They're starting to link up well. He's starting to do the Ben White overlapping runs. And look, Ben White, he's one of my favourite players. I love Ben White. I always back Ben White. But we haven't missed him. The only way you could say that we missed him is because we haven't really had an outstanding left back since Ben White's injury, because Calafiori's mostly been playing there, and I haven't been too impressed with Calafiori. But on the right, this is what I don't get, bro. This is what I don't get. We sign these defenders, yet we still have a left back issue. Our two best fullbacks by far are Timber and Ben White. They both play the same position. They're both right backs. Timber isn't as effective on the left as he is on the right. You see him on the right-hand side, and he's putting in performances like this. Sensational. William Saliba, I'll give a 9. Rolls-Royce defender. That was his best game this season. Højlund, whilst Højlund isn't the biggest goal threat in the Premier League, he's pretty good in Europe, to be fair, but in the Premier League, he isn't a massive goal threat, but he's a physical striker. Saliba did a good job on him. Kivior, I'll give a 7. Just his best game in an Arsenal shirt. No, I'll give him an 8. Fuck that. He had a tough task with Højlund as well. They both did very good. So Saliba can get a 9. Kivior can get an 8. I'm just so happy that he's playing his natural position. Because at left back, he's been pretty shit, especially this season. The error against Bournemouth, the error against Liverpool, he's been pretty shit. But specifically at centre back, we haven't really seen him there much because Gabriel and Saliba have been fit since pretty much for the entirety from like the start of last season to now. There's only twice that one of them hasn't been available. The only other time is when Gabriel got dropped, which is mad, which feels mad to say. So that was good. Midfield, Rice can get a 9. As I said, man of the match. Was winning every duel. His delivery for the first goal was sublime. Him and Saka, bro. Their delivery from corners, it needs to be studied because everyone talks about the defenders. Everyone talks about the head that gets on the ball, Gabriel specifically, but we've seen Saliba do it. We've seen Ben White do it. We've seen Timber do it. We've seen Havertz do it. But the delivery is the main part. The delivery is the key because anyone can score a corner at some point with their delivery. It's just, even Fabian Schär did it. Remember that 4-1 game against Newcastle? Even Fabian Schär was scoring in our attacking net because of how good the delivery is from corners. So that delivery from Declan Rice was exceptional. Thomas Partey, not his best game this season. I've seen him do better. I'll give him a 6. Good on him, I guess, for being involved in the second goal. There are a couple times when he had, a lapse of concentration, gave the ball away, especially in the first half. But I'm not going to criticize him because he, over the past couple of months, has been excellent. Ødegaard, I'll also give a 6. Wasn't really able to have much of an impact on the game, but still had a few moments where he was able to create something. We just weren't able to capitalize on it. We missed a lot of chances. I've heard United fans talking so much smack about how, we're set piece FC, we're prime Stoke, all this shit. They had one open play shot. We had a bunch of chances in the second half, even non-corner ones. So I don't know why they're crying, personally. We created much more from open play than they did. And Ødegaard did have a role in that. Saka, I'll give a 7. Involved in the second goal. Had a couple of moments where he was able to be a threat. Mazraoui was playing as a left centre-back specifically so he could match up on Saka. And he did a decent job. Fair play to Mazraoui. He's been excellent for United. But Saka is just amazing. I love him so much, but not his best game. Martinelli, I'll give a 5. As I said, I thought he was the only player on the pitch that wasn't, particularly good. And then Havertz, I'll give a 7. As I said, could have put away that chance, but other than that, he didn't really have any other moments. He could have done anything. But he was just a warrior in that second half. An absolute warrior. Going in for the duels. Yeah, just battling. And I love to see it from Havertz. As inconsistent as he is, one thing I can praise him on is his general play. Not as much this season, but yeah, his hold-up play, he's a warrior, and I love to see it. Pretty much everyone off the bench put in a somewhat decent performance. Trossard, I'll give him a 7. He was better than Martinelli, I thought. He was probably our best attacker in the second half coming off the bench. I thought he was a threat. He was definitely a threat. He was making Maguire worry. Who else came off the bench? Jorginho did. Jorginho 5. He wasn't able to get involved much, and I think those were the only 2 players that got significant minutes. Oh, and Marino. Yeah, Jorginho didn't get significant minutes. Why do I think Jorginho is the one that got subbed on earlier? Oh, well, I won't rate Jorginho then because, yeah, he didn't really do much. But Marino, I'd say like a 5 is a fair rating. Didn't really see him do anything, but it didn't matter because we were 2-0 up. So that is my match review for Manchester United versus Arsenal. Tomorrow I will come out with some Premier League Game Week 15 predictions. And I'll also come out with a Premier League Game Week 14 review tomorrow. Just talking about all the games that happened this midweek. We're in the business end of the season. And I'm really excited. I'm so excited because this team is playing some great, great football. We've conceded 3 goals. I had to think for a second. We've conceded 3 goals since coming back from this international break in 4 games. But we've scored 15. We've scored 15 goals in 4 games. Unbelievable stuff. And the funniest part is 4 of them were from corners. 4 of them were from corners. 2 penalties, but 4 of them from corners. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, do all that stuff. And I will see you in the next one. Come on, you Gunners. Oh, thank fuck Liverpool drop points. You love to see it. Fabian Schär.